This is Jeremy.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Nate. And we are Sanhedrin.
So in contrast to the US, you can swear on German radio, yeah? So if you want to say fuck for the soundcheck, it's totally fine.
Oh, fucking A. All right.
Fuckity fuckity.
All right. Shit.
Fuck.
Many people at home will now be listening to the show. They will hear some songs of Sanhedrin, but they haven't heard of your band before. So before we play a song now, how would you describe the band? What is Sanhedrin about?
We are a hard rock, heavy metal band. We sing about real life, and we kind of don't limit ourselves to those two genres, basically. But yeah, we like to explore outside of that, but that's where our heart and soul lies.
So I think, this is also one point that I probably would like to make. Like, the band somehow feels very natural, non-cliche in a way. Yeah, when I first heard your music and I saw also the artwork, I said this doesn't necessarily look or sound like a cliche metal or hard rock band. Was that more like a conscious decision to do it like this, or did that develop naturally?
We all listen to very different things, and we play what we like to hear. You know, would you like to eat Italian food every day? No, so we like to mix it up a bit.
Yeah, what I mean is kind of like in a more, let's say, traditional metal context. Right. You know, you would expect the kind of like the cliche song about a dragon, yeah, or about a warrior, yeah. But you don't need that probably, right?
You know, the vision of the band is the art that we make together, and you know, I think the originality just comes from the fact that there's three people that have their individual perspectives, and they kind of add up to this natural thing. We write songs very well naturally together, and the artwork comes together the same way, and the so-called image, if you will, is the same.
Yeah, that's difficult for me now to think about which question to ask next, because we could talk about band constellation or the lyrics or the songwriting process, but maybe we stay with you as like the band, the three of you. I mean that's kind of like a setting with three people. It's easy to manage in a way. Yeah. It's probably also easier. Yeah, that was intentional. Yeah. Okay. It's probably also easier to communicate. And when you have a bigger band, like with 5-6 people, the chance that you have one asshole in there
is higher.
Yeah. So
people, less problems.
Yeah, it's just easier to communicate. Like, say I come in with a guitar riff, I only have to explain my intentions to two people, and then work with those two people to make it come together, which is sometimes a faster process, but it's not always fast. But it is easier than if, like you said, if we had a keyboard or a second guitar player or any other sort of extra personnel. It makes some things easier, but it also, the limitation actually makes you have to be more creative, because you have to make sure that with only the three of us playing, that it always sounds full,
Well, and also to that point, when we get into the rehearsal studio, we tend to work. We don't fuck around at rehearsal. Like, we pretty much work for 3 hours.
Yeah. Nobody's coming in with like a 6-pack and saying, "Hey, let's party." It's like, no, let's turn the amps on, let's get the drums tuned, and let's get to work, because our time is valuable. We respect each other's time.
Yeah, sounds like a German work ethic, really. Yeah, a little bit.
It's the New York hustle. It's just
New York survival efficiency tactics.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but then Jeremy, you told me that you're moving actually to California. You just told me that. So is the rest of the band celebrating that, or I mean, no, probably not. But maybe you can explain how you think the band can continue then.
Well. We'll just continue differently. I think the fact that high-speed internet is available now and wasn't, it's not something that would have been as easy to do 20 years ago. But in terms of communication, we're just going to have to be very clear with each other. And in terms of writing and stuff, I email these guys guitar riffs all the time from across town. So that won't change. We just won't be able to necessarily play every local New York show that gets offered to us. But because we're more of a touring band at this point, that's probably going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we typically try to rehearse at least once a week, and so that part of it is going to change. But at this point, I feel like we've all played enough and we're all comfortable enough with each other that, we're able to get things together a little quicker than we were in the past.
Yeah. We all do it. We all do our homework, even say because we're also busy working, because of the rent. There will be times where we don't get to rehearse every week, and so if we have, say, a month away from each other, we're all still on our own. I'm still working on stuff on my own. Erica's practicing, Nate's practicing. And so when we come together, we're still fresh as musicians, and we're not, there's not a lag time to catch up.
Yeah.
I think it'll actually afford us an opportunity to kind of work a little more intentionally, because when you will email stuff, we will have to prepare it in anticipation of your coming to play with us. Mm-hmm. So, it'll add some steps.
Yeah. In some ways, it'll make things harder. In some things, it might make us more efficient.
Yeah. So you just mentioned that you're more like a touring band now. Yeah. In fact, actually, you not so long ago you played Göppingen, down the road basically from here. This kind of like pub show there. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was your first European kind of like tour. Yeah.
It was actually our first full-scale tour, more or less. We did like a small run in the U.S. prior, but this was our first large-scale, long-term tour. Yeah. We were out for a month. Yeah.
But this is also like a test or a challenge for a band, right? Because you're kind of like glued together on a very small space for a certain amount of time. So how did you experience that? Because that was something new, basically, that you couldn't really plan ahead, right?
Yeah.
I had been glued to Nathan for a very long time. I met Nathan in 2009 at
2007, 8, actually.
Yeah, at a job that we would work 80 hours a week at. So I saw Nathan more than I saw my husband for a long time. And so I kind of knew what it was like to be glued to Nathan. And, these guys are pretty easy to get along with.
I think, Erica, you are responsible for most of the lyrics, or maybe all of them, yeah? So when I look through those, I mean, it comes back to the point that you're not kind of like a cliche metal hard rock band, yeah? So when I read the lyrics, it's more, there are social issues in there, probably some experiences, observations, maybe a bit of politics as well, opinions. And at the same time, when I read through it, it reads very poetic in a way, to me personally at least. And like it's not like, oh yeah, I have to write lyrics now and scribble them down. Well, you seem to spend a lot of time on it, or not?
I do. Yeah, some of them come to me like I'm channeling from the beyond. So, for example, The Poisoner, I wrote in 15 minutes, right? And I didn't know where that came from. I didn't even know what song we were going to put it on. And then he wrote the riff, and I was like, oh shit, this is that song. So, and sometimes I'll write, and then I'll just revise until I'm satisfied. But yeah, I put a lot of care into crafting lyrics that will be thought-promoting.
Yeah. It also kind of like answers my other question, what comes first, lyrics or songs, but it can go both ways.
It definitely does, for sure. Yeah.
So probably my favorite song of yours would be Collateral Damage. Okay. So maybe we can use that as an example to maybe talk me through how such a song comes together. Because I think this is very varied. It starts very mellow, but it also has these kind of like faster parts in it. All the tension, also
because that one took a very long time to write, and I feel like the composition and the way it came together, was kind of first off trial and error. And I feel like we really took our time with that one to make it make sense. As far as maybe Jeremy and Erica could fill in which came first, the guitars, the lyrics,
I feel like the music was at least the foundation of the song in terms of the different parts was there when the lyrics and the melodies started to come. It's more often than not that the music is first and the melody comes after and the lyrics come after. But we don't have any rules. It's not like we have a hard line there. And that particular song, yeah, it came together. Again, like we've had songs that, like our song "For the Wicked." Me and Nate put the music to that together, and as long as it took to play the song, 3 minutes. Whereas, Collateral Damage or The Poisoner or some other songs, we really took our time with it. We basically we all know when the song is done, and we're all willing to wait until it's perfect, as opposed to trying to rush that, to make sure that that we're all happy with it, all three of us.
That song wasn't done until it was recorded.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, as far as we were
Yeah.
concerned.
That's
When
what-
we heard it back, we said, okay, now we understand the song. You know what I mean?
If I put on your records, I mean, it's easily recognizable that it must be Sanhedrin, not only by the music, but also by the vocals, right? So you have a distinctive voice, I would say, and to me it sounds like you have it very well under control as well, right? While having a certain amount of power in it at the same time, yeah. When I saw you play Göppingen, I was curious, whether in a live situation that would be the same, because you're playing an instrument at the same time. So is there any way how you prepare for these vocal takes, or do you practice singing at home as well,
Yeah,
or?
Absolutely. It's an athletic experience, okay? Because I used to sing classical and opera, and I studied that.
right.
So I have a background in like breath control and stuff like that, but with the added bass playing and running around on stage, I literally sometimes have to practice where I breathe within a song, so that I can make sure that I don't run out of gas.
The artwork for the albums. I think the first one, Funeral for the World, you have this kind of like globe running through an hourglass a little bit, yeah. So what was that designed specifically for you, or did you take that from somewhere else?
Jeremy found a great artist.
So I found an artist through the magic of the internet, Instagram specifically, and I liked his work. So when we were working on the album, I had contacted him just about, hey, would you be interested in perhaps working on an album cover? And then we just got, we had some concepts in mind, and some of it kind of started very far out from where it turned up. And it was just a collaboration. We wanted to incorporate elements of the lyrics, particularly the title track, into the album artwork. And it was just sort of a back and forth between the band and the artist Jack, who's of Seventh Bell Artwork. And he sent us a sketch. We approved the final sketch, and then it just kind of went from there. We got the final drawing, and we loved it. And we used him also for the Poisoner album cover.
Yeah.
And it was a similar process.
Yeah. Okay. So the show is called What's Metal? We always have this as the last question. Yeah. So what is metal for you? Yeah. Is it more music or form of life maybe, or like what does it mean to you?
I think for me, for me personally, it's where I find my freedom in this world.
Free expression with a touch of aggression.
Yeah.
Like Jeremy, it's freedom, in a lot of ways, whether it's, driving your car above the speed limit, listening to Judas Priest, or, being on stage playing music, it's freedom.